Hi, this is Dr. Tiffany Jackson, naturopathic doctor at Natural Medicine Now University. Thank you for joining this webinar to learn about the Emotional Freedom Technique, also known as EFT. EFT is a remarkable healing modality based on the same principles that have been used for thousands of years in acupuncture, but without the needles. An EFT treatment involves using your fingertips to tap specific acupressure points. Best of all, anyone can learn how to do EFT in relatively a short amount of time, and you can achieve great results in relieving stress, anxiety, and any uncomfortable feelings. So in this webinar, you're going to learn the benefits of EFT and get a chance to experience the results for yourself. So let's get started. Emotional freedom technique is often referred to as psychological acupressure. The technique works by releasing blockages within the body's energy systems. The acupuncture energy system has a network of meridians serving as pathways to circulate and distribute vitality through different parts of the organs. These meridians can be blocked, which limit the energy supply to the different parts of the body systems. These blockages in our energy system often lead to limiting beliefs and behaviors, and leading to an inability to live life harmoniously. Resulting symptoms are either emotional and/or physical and include a lack of confidence, feeling stuck or anxious, feeling depressed, or having anxiety or compulsive and addictive behaviors. It is now widely accepted that emotional imbalance is a key factor in physical symptoms and disease. And for this reason, the emotional freedom technique is being extensively used for certain health issues, including anxiety, post-traumatic stress, and chronic illness. And certain practitioners have had astounding results. Emotional freedom technique is being more and more accepted in the medical and psychiatric practices. So here at Natural Medicine Now, we're excited to introduce you to this new healing technique. Emotional freedom technique is a meridian-based energy therapy that was developed by Gary Craig from the landmark discoveries of Roger Callahan. It's a simple technique that often provides rapid relief from physical and emotional issues, specifically traumas, phobias, grief, guilt, addictive cravings, abandonment, fears, pain, headaches, and much, much more. I want you to check out this short video so you can learn more about Gary Craig and the benefits of using the emotional freedom technique. To learn more about Gary Craig and the emotional freedom technique, feel free to visit his website, www.emofree.com.
Pain was in every part of my body for many, many years. I stopped needing a doctor.
I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. They cannot find any traces that it ever existed in my body.
I had over 80 allergies and I was allergic to the world, basically. I am not allergic to anything. I can eat anything I want to.
Diabetes, post-traumatic stress disorder.
EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques, and it's an emotional version of acupuncture, except we don't use needles. Instead, we address emotional issues. The emotional contributor to disease and ailments and physical things is far greater than the emphasis that's been given to it to date. All of us know intuitively that if we're carrying around angers and griefs and guilts and traumas, it shows up physically. If somebody is really angry, their stomach is tight, maybe the veins down out of their neck, their blood pressure goes up, emotions cause physical things. Well, you keep that body a long period of time, now you're looking at diseases.
You know, in my own case, I got tired of giving medications which would just treat the symptoms and didn't really address what I thought was the underlying problem.
EFT, on the other hand, zeroes right in on it, and I think that's why we get results where nothing else will.
It's possible to clear emotional issues at a deep enough level that physical healing results.
Acupuncture relies on the fact that there are subtle energies that run throughout the body called meridians. If they're not flowing well, the body's health does not do well. And what I found was something just very stunning. If we stimulate these meridians, tapping on them with our fingertips, it tends to balance things out, and people that would have an intense emotional issue, it would just fade. Sometimes it would happen in minutes. Once you start taking care of these emotional issues and doing it correctly and really resolving them, physical things start to subside as well.
Immediately, I could control my pain levels.
My migraine was gone in 10 minutes.
I don't have diabetes anymore. I don't have to check my blood anymore. I gave my blood meter to my sister, whose cat has diabetes because he's overweight.
What we've really done is taken a very ancient, very well-established process, the ancient Chinese way of going about healing. We've dusted it off, and we've added an innovation or two, and this is the new forefront to me. We're on the ground floor of this new healing high-rise.
When I was 10 years old, I fell down a 25-foot hay chute. I landed in a sitting position on a concrete landing, compressing my spine. I underwent my first back operation in 1971, a second one in 1972, a third one in 1979, a fourth one in 1984, a fifth one in 1992, and a sixth in 2002. With each surgery, the pain just got worse. I lived in pain my entire life. I lived on Tylenol with codeine 4. I took them like candy. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, which was another devastating blow, and my response to that was, God, how much can I take? I was totally wheelchair bound for 5 years. EFT brought me out of the wheelchair, put me on arm crutches, which my doctor said would never happen. Went from arm crutches to giving up Social Security disability and returning to work. I'm 54 and I'm doing jumping jacks now.
I'm not saying by that we cure everything in a minute or two and in a session or two and so on, and some things take a lot longer than others, but we get astonishing results often.
So what we're going to do today is take a finger prick of blood from a few different people. We're going to take a look at it under a dark field microscope and actually look at what their live blood looks like. A person that's healthy, their live blood will look like a clean flowing river, and a sick person, clumping in just a murky swamp. Of those 6 people, 3 had blood picture that looked like there's some health issues that should be addressed. So we had those 3 people go through about 5 minutes of EFT.
This anger, all this resentment.
We drew their blood again, looked at it, and saw just total different blood pictures. No sign of clumping. I was speechless. When I could finally think again, I thought, I'm going to go home and just take my certificates, my degrees that took me years to get, and just tear them up and just, let's learn about this EFT. Normally, as a nutritionist, I would have put you on 2 or 3 months of mineral supplementation, but EFT, 5 minutes.
People on the outside, they look at some of the things we do as miracles, and I'm not really a miracle worker at all, or, it's just the body will tend to heal itself if its energies are allowed to flow. The biggest thing that blocks that flow of energy is how emotional issues and past traumas are held in the body.
So we're getting to the core. That's why you can use it for everything.
Addiction issues,
Shame issues, vision issues,
Chronic fatigue, fear of flying, atrial fibrillation,
cravings,
Diabetes, diverticulitis, post-traumatic stress disorder,
abundance, public speaking,
insomnia.
performing in any capacity.
For the first time, I can probably say I truly and genuinely like myself, love myself, have acceptance.
People ask me what kind of antidepressants I'm on, and I say EFT.
I do believe anything is possible now because I've seen it. One that was really fun to do was the vision experiment I did. 75% had an improvement in their vision. I keep getting emails from people, by the way, Carol, I'm not using my glasses to look at the piano music anymore.
EFT is the best thing I found, hands down.
One of the great things about EFT is it's easy to learn by anyone.
I thought, well, I don't know if I believe this, but what if I just suspended my disbelief?
Well, the EFT tutorial is free on our website because I want the world to know how to do it. Do you want more than that?
So how exactly does the emotional freedom technique work? It works on the belief that our negative emotions are caused by a disruption in the body's energy system. EFT works to clear such disruptions and eliminate the resulting emotional response or intensity to restore emotional harmony and offer relief from any physical discomfort you're experiencing. This is done by focusing on a specific problem while tapping the fingers on the endpoints of certain energy meridians. The combination of sending kinetic energy to your energy system while uncovering and focusing on the root cause facilitates a straightening out of the energy system, therefore eliminating the short circuit to the body's negative emotion. Therefore eliminating the short circuit to the body's learned response or negative emotion. Emotional freedom technique is a positive, proactive experience. It often works when other therapies have not. People usually have long-lasting relief from symptoms, and it can be self-applied and no drugs or equipment are needed. So now I want to show you a diagram of the location of the points used during an emotional freedom technique treatment. These points are in fact the endpoints of energy meridians and are located just beneath the surface of the skin, responding to touch than having to use needles in acupuncture. I want you to become familiar with these tapping points because now I'm about to demonstrate an emotional freedom technique sequence. The diagram on the slide indicates the tapping points to use, but I also want to show you how to do it in person so there's no confusion. So to begin EFT, you need to start by identifying the health issue you want to work on. It can be a physical ailment or an emotional symptom, but I'm going to use the example of having anxiety. So first you want to rate the intensity of the feeling from 0 to 10, 10 being the most intense and 0 being, not really having a symptom at all. So for my example of having anxiety, I'm going to rate it at about an 8. I'm a little anxious, but not having a severe panic attack. So you go ahead and locate your issue and just give it a ranking from 0 to 10. Next, you're going to locate the karate chop point. It's the point on the pinky side of your hand below the knuckle where you would hit if you did a karate chop. So you can tap this point any way that you would like. I prefer using 2 fingers, but you want to try to find that tender spot so you know that you have the right point. Now, once you find the karate chop point, you need to tune into the problem that you're experiencing. So my example in the beginning was anxiety. Now this is one of the most critical elements in the emotional freedom technique and why it's so effective, and it's because you must tune into the problem you want to address, and then you need to say a positive affirmation. Otherwise, the energy balancing effect of the tapping for that problem will be of little use. So I'm going to use my problem of having anxiety, and then you're going to say this affirmation in these exact words. Even though I have this problem, blank for me would be anxiety. So even though I have this anxiety, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Now I know that sounds bizarre and cheesy, but you just have to trust me and you have to get comfortable saying this a couple times, because when you tune into the issue that you're having on and then you say these affirmations and you hit this point, a very effective energy balancing and calming effect happens in the body. So let's go ahead and say it 3 times while tapping on the karate point. So we're going to do it together. Even though I have this, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I have this, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I have this, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So that's the beginning of the emotional freedom technique. The next step is to begin tapping in a sequence of 7 points, and starting from the top of the head and then working down through the face to the collarbone into the arm, like you can see on the screen with the tapping points. So we're going to go ahead and start at the top of the head, and then you're going to place both of your thumbs on top of your ears and connect your middle fingers together. That's the point that you want to locate at the top of the head. It's actually called the governing vessel in Chinese medicine. It's an extremely effective acupressure point. So I recommend you use your fingers to identify that point up there. And then for this point, you know, if you just use 3 or 4 fingers to tap at the top of your head, then you don't have to worry exactly where the location is. You'll be pretty covered. Now, some people choose to do 2 hands for tapping. Other methods that I've learned with this technique, you can just rub the spot at the top of the head. It doesn't really matter. Do whatever feels comfortable for you as long as you're getting stimulation of that acupressure point. So you're going to actually tap 7 times there, and then you're going to move to the next point, which is the beginning of the eyebrow point. So this is located just above and to the side of the nose right here. If you go up the nose bridge, right at the beginning of the eyebrow. And if you begin tapping, you'll feel a little tender spot there. So then you'll know that you're right on the acupressure point. So that's where you want to tap for the inside of the eyebrow. Now the next point is the side of the eye, and that's located on the bone bordering the outside corner of the eye. Again, it's another quite tender point. It's right to the outer eyebrow, and you can just begin tapping there. The under the eye point is on the bone under the eye, about 1 inch below your pupil. So you'll feel right on that eye socket bone in the middle. If you begin tapping there, you'll feel a tender point. So then you'll know that you're right on the point. The under the nose point is located in a small area between the bottom of your nose and the upper lip. So you're gonna feel it's pretty much right in the middle. You'll feel a little tender spot there to where you'll know you're right on the point. And now we have a chin point, which is midway between the point of your chin and the bottom of your lower lip. So even though this is not directly on the chin, it's the point right here in between. So we call it the chin point because it's descriptive enough for people to understand it easily. But you're going to hit right here in the middle of the chin. The next point is the collarbone point, and this is a very important point. Actually, in acupuncture, it's referred to as a kidney point. It's kidney number 27. So to locate it, you're first going to put your forefinger on the U-shaped notch right around the top of your breastbone, and then that's kind of where a man would tie his tie. So there's a good location for you. And from that, you just want to move your finger down about 1 inch and then go to the left or to the right. So that's going to be the collarbone point, although it's not right on the collarbone, it's not right on the clavicle, it's just a little bit below, but you'll feel a tender spot there when you start to tap it. So then the final point is the under the arm point, and this is located on the side of the body a few inches below your armpit. On a man, it's level with the nipple, and on a woman, it's located right in the middle of the bra strap. So I recommend to use all 4 fingers on the side as you begin tapping on that point. So after the armpit point, you have finished a full cycle. So what you want to do is you want to do this tapping sequence twice along either side of the body. And it really doesn't matter if you tap on both sides or if you alternate one side to the other. The whole point is you're using fingers, you're hitting the acupressure points, and you're working from top to bottom in a sequence that works for you, and you're targeting those exact acupressure points. So once you've done 2 rounds, tapping each point 7 times, you want to score the intensity of the problem that you originally had. So remember, you scaled it from 0 to 10. So now, after you've completed the emotional freedom technique, you just ask yourself where you would scale your pain or your problem. So, after I've done my round, I would say my anxiety is now at about 4 or 5. And a lot of different things can happen here. It can totally disappear and your symptom can completely be gone. It can reduce in intensity. So in that case, you want to do more rounds of tapping. And then you can adjust the wording and your affirmations appropriately, saying, even though I still feel a little bit of anxiety or I still have some panic, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So you can alternate what you want to say and adjust it to how you're feeling. And then in other cases, maybe you did the sequence and now you have a totally different feeling or emotion or physical pain in a different part of the body. So you just work through and do as many rounds as you need to, and then you stop when you feel relief. So now that we've identified all of the different points, I'm going to run through a whole emotional freedom sequence for you so you can put it all together. So I know that this seems bizarre and very cheesy, but just stick with me, it really does work. So first we're going to start by identifying the karate chop point, and you're going to start hitting that point hard enough to where you feel the tenderness, but not to where you're going to get a bruise. And then find your positive affirmation. And we're going to say it 3 times. Even though I have this anxiety, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I have this anxiety, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And even though I have this anxiety, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Then from there, you're going to take the tapping up to the top of the head for 7 taps. And then you're going to move to the beginning of the eyebrow for 7 taps. And then you're going to move to the side of the eye for 7 taps. And then below the eye for 7 taps. And then below the nose for 7 taps. And then the chin point for 7 taps. And then the collarbone point for 7 taps. And then you're going to go to the under the arm for the 7 taps. And then you continue cycling through that. I usually do 2 or 3 cycles and then just reassess how you feel, grading the intensity. And I promise you, you will feel a reduction in your symptoms. Just stick to it. Here is your action plan for this webinar. Commit to trying the emotional freedom technique 3 times a day for any specific health issue or physical ailment that you may be experiencing. I know it may seem strange and you may feel awkward, but if you begin practicing on a regular basis, you will be amazed at the results you can achieve. You can do it as soon as you wake up, before a meal, anytime you go to the bathroom, even when you're at a stoplight, or when you go to bed. Once you start to observe how well EFT clears out emotional debris and gets your body back into balance, you will be thankful that you were open to trying this technique. Thank you for joining this webinar. I hope you now have a better understanding of what EFT is and how to do the technique on yourself. It can be used for every health problem or emotional situation you may be experiencing, such as fears, phobias, anxiety, pain, and even stress. It is when you open yourself up to how emotions impact your physical symptoms and illness that you can really start to allow your body to heal and get back into balance. So take action and prevent disease and start practicing the emotional freedom technique. This is Dr. Tiffany Jackson at Natural Medicine Now University, wishing you a happy and healthy day.